Okay, so now we're going to be working on noticing all the things that are moving in different parts when you're taking a deep belly breath. So like we worked on in the first video, you were just working on expanding and contracting your belly while you were breathing. So what happens when you take an inhale is that your diaphragm is coming down, it's making a negative pressure so that air can come into your lungs. And when your diaphragm comes down like this, in order for your intestines not to be completely smushed, your pelvic floor also drops down. So your diaphragm and your pelvic floor kind of work together, and we're going to be feeling that out for ourselves in this next sequence. So we're going to be on our back again, and fix your pants if you need to. So we're going to take that same belly breath that we did before. You're going to breathe in, raise your hands up, and then come back down. This time, I want you to think about what's going on in your pelvic floor. So when you breathe in, like I mentioned before, your diaphragm is coming down and your pelvic floor is also coming down. So I want you to think about that and feel that as you take a breath in. You should feel an expansion here in the pelvic floor, and then on the breath out, it kind of just comes back to a normal resting position. So we're going to capitalize on this change in position of the pelvic floor, and we're going to activate it ourselves. So on the breath in, you're going to feel it drop. And then on the breath out, we're going to have you try and pull your pelvic floor up and in as you're exhaling to kind of ride that wave of the pelvic floor coming back up. So we're going to do a couple reps of this one, just breathing in, feeling it depress, and then breathing out, feeling it come back up, and then just ride the wave with the contraction of that pelvic floor. Hold it for a couple seconds and then relax. And then for the third level of this, we're going to add in some of the abdominal contraction that we worked on in the assessment. So again, hands here, same thing that we did before. The only difference is that on the breath out, as you're pulling the pelvic floor up and in, and as your hands are coming back down from that breath, you're going to kind of follow that down by doing your abdominal contraction with your belly button into your spine to kind of just wrap everything up together at the end of that exhale. So inhale, everything's expanding. Exhale, everything's coming down. You're pulling your pelvic floor up and in, and at the end, you're also knitting your abs together basically and bringing the lower back down against the floor, and then you're just going to relax everything. So at the end of that, you're thinking about pulling your pelvic floor in, you're depressing your abs down and pushing your lower back into the floor, and everything is all contained. And then the very last thing is just kind of like a cherry on top. It's just to add the hips into it. We're going to do a bridge. So I like to do this one actually with my arms up overhead, but the same sequence as before, and I'll lead you through it. So inhaling into a diaphragmatic breath, exhaling, bringing that pelvic floor up and in, bringing the lower back down into the floor, really pulling your rib cage down. You're going to hold all of that as you lift your butt up to the ceiling and then come back down and relax everything. So I like this one because sometimes when people are trying to pull their pelvic floor up, they end up squeezing their butt cheeks together. So because we are going to eventually squeeze your butt cheeks and do the bridge, you'll kind of see if you are already squeezing before. And that's just something to keep in mind. So arms up, breathe in, breathe out, pelvic floor up and in, belly button to spine, lower back to the floor. Now we're going to squeeze your butt and lift, and then lower everything back down. And I would mess around with that one for maybe like a set of 10 or so. I like that one just to feel literally everything in your whole core working all at once.